But I will say that I think there's a lot of missing information. We don't have the finalized versions on the Boltons, which I think that direction is actually a really cool idea. So Piranha Games, if you're listening, I'd like to see more of that. I think that's originally sort of what we wanted. Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here, and we're going to be talking about the Stryker pack that was just posted by Piranha Games last Friday, and that is February 19th, 2021. Some details about the pack is it's going to be available pretty much from here on out. The price point is $20. What do you get with that $20? You get 4 mechs total with 4 mech bays, as well as some other items. Let's go ahead and go over this really quick. You get a Thunderbolt special variant of the 10 SE. And of course, that's an S, which means it gets a 30% bonus to C-bills. You also just get the regular 10 SE, the standard variant as well. Again, includes mech base, so you don't have to worry about that. You get 8 million C-bills and 200 GSP as well. Along with, you get a standing cockpit item, mounted warhorn, and then you get some theme decals, titles, badges. And of course, these do come with custom patterns for the specific chassis, it seems like, as well. Now, what wasn't answered is like if you're going to be able to use that on another mech or not, but it does look like you're going to be able to use it for the specific Thunderbolts and or Dragons. That is the other mech, of course, across the aisle is the Grand Dragon, and that is again the 1G across the board. Now, I gather this is from their intel gathering that they pinged the community for what variants they'd like to see. This was on their roadmap, so we were sort of expecting this. Of course, base price is at $20. It ships April 20th, 2021. There is a FAQ here that gives a little bit more details of when the just mechs are going to be available for C-bill purchase, which they will be. Of course, that is for the standard variants that do not get the C-bill bonus. So, and again, just to sort of distinguish, well, why would you pay money for this? This is so you get early access basically to the variants, and if you wanting, you can get the 30% boost. Now, what's unique about this is we knew they were going to be transitioning their sort of mech model, right? The mech packs, if you will. This isn't a new chassis. This is an existing, 2 existing chassis with just new variants. I feel like that's pretty low-hanging fruit for them to be able to churn out some stuff, and it'll be interesting what other ones the community would be interested in, what's currently out there. And of course, if you're watching, is there any current chassis and or variants that aren't here that you think would be interesting? Link them down in the comments down below, and well, you never know, it could happen, right? All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about something that's a little bit different and a little bit interesting here. And I just want to talk about this before we get into details of the mechs themselves, but let's talk about some of the Boltons that are going to be special. And this is quite unique. And I just want to sort of talk about this because this has far-reaching implications. Darren just recently talked about how PGI has not been happy with the Bolton system, and they felt they could do a better job. Maybe instead of global Boltons, they focus on mech-specific Boltons that you can buy. So that would distinguish maybe an Atlas Bolton versus, and again, a Grand Dragon Bolton versus a Thunderbolt. So they do have an example here, and they do have a preference. Says art shown is early sketch phase only. This is not final work. So it says final work will be shown before the early adopter option expires. Now, in the future, I would like this to be solidified. If I'm going to be dropping $20, I would like to know ahead of time, albeit let's give them a pass on that because I think this has far-reaching implications that I think we all sort of wanted Boltons to go in this direction in the first place. So first off, we have a design here of Boltons that would be specific to the chassis and or variant that's attached to. You can see sort of like reactive armor here. Let's go ahead and click on the next. You can see again reactive armor, a special claw geo, maybe a head geo, and they also have some unique geo on the back here of the dragon. And to me, what's really unique here is this is sort of what we were wanting in the first place, albeit I think this is a good alternative instead of maybe replacing full physical geometry, 3D geometry on a mech that changes potential hitboxes and stuff. This could be a lot better and give a lot of uniqueness to mechs using the Bolton system, especially now that Boltons don't necessarily fall off. And of course, here is the Thunderbolt in big size, and standard, and of course the dragon, we all know what that looks like. Now, one thing to note is the hardpoint locations here. You can see that they are in the arms. I'm assuming the energy are going to be high, just like in the other representations, and the missile hardpoints are in the CT, and I don't think we have an issue with that. On the Thunderbolt itself, you can see here on the right arm, it's on the outside of the forearm. Again, it's one of those things that I wish PGI would have moved the hardpoints to the inside. Function over form, boys, especially we don't have claws or hands that work. That would have been and still is, I think, a need across the board. Make it a part, especially with these having claws. There's no reason why that energy hardpoint can be here on top or even on the inside. And again, gameplay first. Across the, as far as the left torso, pretty standard on the Thunderbolt. On the right torso, you have a few that are high. With the jump jet capability here, I don't think this will be a problem, especially if you are doing, a peep build or, again, all energy. But one thing to note is if you can see it, you're not going to necessarily be able to hit it instantaneously if you have any type of cover or concealment in front of you. Missile hardpoints are going to be above, so that shouldn't be an issue. And of course, let's go ahead and talk about the variants. And what do these variants bring to the table that the others don't? Well, interesting enough, the biggest difference here is going to be the Thunderbolt. It's a 65-tonner that we now have ECM, mask, and jump jets combined with a energy and missile platform. There are no ballistics on here. Whereas on the Grand Dragon, it pretty much has 4 energy and 2 missile. And when you compare that to other 60-tonners, one thing is going to be blatantly clear, which is it really doesn't bring anything unique here. Now, I will say what is unique about this is that they also didn't release any information on quirks. And I feel like that's going to really define whether or not the Grand Dragon in itself is going to be able to compete with all the other dragons that are very similar, and some of them having some pretty heavy weapon quirks as well and survivability. We all know that the dragon is a little bit of a bigger mech as well, especially that right arm. So again, what does this bring to the table that the others don't? Well, we don't really know except for hard points right now. This also sort of highlights, and I'll be making a video on it, the quirks in general and some of the drawbacks to the quirk system being used for balance instead of fixing fundamental issues at the core. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what do the other Thunderbolts and Dragons bring to the table compared to this. Again, 4 energy and 2 missile over on MechDB. And of course, if you haven't used this website, it's fantastic. A great resource here. 4 energy, 1 missile. But you can see the ballistic cooldown quirk and the quirks across the board, armor and structure, and even a missile cooldown of 15%. So just right off the bat, if we're comparing the 1G here, which they already have it in here just for theory crafting, and it is $20 at least for now until it comes out. This is going to have some pretty substantial quirks to be able to compete with something that has 15% cooldown, structure, and armor across the board. And if you notice, pretty much every dragon has around the equal same amount of armor and structure. So right off the bat, it's going to probably need something along those lines. And then again, on top of that, you're talking about something with energy and missile, and where you have some of the other ones have negative 15% energy heat and negative 15% cooldown. Now, this also again highlights the problem with having to balance and juggle quirks from one chassis, one tonnage bracket to the other. But this is what it brings to the table. So we have that. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Thunderbolts. And again, the Thunderbolt in practicality is a lot different than the others. Again, it brings the ability to have jump jets like the 9SE, 5 energy, 2 missile, whereas this is 5 energy, 1 missile. So again, missing out on one of those missile, but you have ECM, you have jump jet capability. And so that's going to be interesting right off the bat. It's not the powerhouse that is the 5SS with 7 energy. And of course, we have the 9S with the ERPPC quirks and just general heat quirks. What will this be given to really help it compete, especially when you look at mechs like the Top Dog that have 9 energy and they still have structure included? So right off the bat, again, the Thunderbolt is the one that sticks out to me the most as far as distinguishing it between the other variants. So what are my final thoughts when it comes to this booster pack? I think actually it's like a really cool idea. I think the price point for 4 mechs is pretty reasonable. But I will say that I think there's a lot of missing information. We don't have the finalized versions on the Boltons, which I think that direction is actually a really cool idea. So Piranha Games, if you're listening, I'd like to see more of that. I think that's originally sort of what we wanted. Whereas if you take like the AS7D and AS7F and the AS7S, or those different heads, that would be really cool. So I don't know if that's possible, but it'd be great to hear from the art team about that, because I think that's outside of just this booster pack, that's a cool idea. So continue that. We'd like to see more, but this doesn't include those finals. I really feel like if you're going to be asking people to drop $20, we need to have those final versions of what you're sort of thinking. Along those lines, with dropping $20, I think we need to know what kind of quirks. What is going to distinguish this mech versus the others? Or is it just going to be a run-of-the-mill sort of, you're going to try to fit it? And of course, I know that's difficult with balance of like, but the Thunderbolt is definitely the interesting one here. It's not necessarily the most crazy setup, but it offers mask. It offers jump jet, which is agility. And then again, the agility boost. And, you know, for the mounts PPCs, ECM is going to be a big thing. ECM is always nice. It isn't always needed. The dragon, again, I feel like, which is an odd choice. I'm assuming, and maybe we'll hear from Darren about the choice here. Was this all player voted? And if it was, I feel like, you know, it's bringing nothing really unique to the table. So I think that'll sort of fall on the quirks. So that's sort of my, the final sort of note there is, I think it's cool that they're asking the community to vote. I think that's fantastic. If the community really does want these, I hope they do the pre-order for those that are wanting them. The only thing is that lacking those 2 bits of information, it would make me want to hesitate. Outside of that, I think this is pretty low-hanging fruit. There are a lot of chassis out there. There are some variants that aren't necessarily in the game right now that I think could be utilized. This is pretty low-hanging fruit. They already have the models done. They already have the textures. I mean, obviously, if they're adding like this, they're adding unique camo. That's probably pretty easy to do and implement. So I think from a workload, kudos. I like the unique geometry on the Boltons. I'm unique to hear more about that. I also like the unique items and stuff like that. So as far as it's not just a reskin, it's not like they just threw a new you know, pattern on there, and they're really looking at the unique geometry for the Bolton system, and I think that in itself is intriguing. So overall, let me know what you guys think. This isn't about me. I'm just talking about it. How do you guys feel about this? Are you did you already pre-order? Are you waiting for more changes to the game? What are your thoughts on the overall Stryker booster pack? Would you like to see more? Would you like to see individuals, or, you know, is it a 2, you know, again, we get 2 variants here in a total of 4 mechs. Do you think this is a good value for $20 with the 4 mechs, the pack items, the war horns, and so forth? Is this sort of lines up with their other sales that they've had recently with the booster packs as well? Is this something that you're going to be doing? And of course, what would you like to see in the future? Just let me know down in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the Stryker booster pack. Again, if you're new to the channel and found this video informative, click that like button, subscribe as well. Leave me comments down below. Will you buy this or won't you buy this? Are you waiting on something if you haven't bought it, or are you just putting faith into the current sort of Piranha Games changes that they've started with this recent patch? Let me know down below. If you like this type of content and you want to support me, one of the best things you can do is head on over to the Twitch page and join us Monday through Friday, 12 to 6 p.m. Eastern. I stream MWO. We've been having a fantastic time. It's been great seeing a lot of new players, but also a lot of old vets coming back to the game, especially with this renewed interest in MWO. So make sure to head over there. If you are new to the community, it's a great place as far as a live stream to ask questions, join our Discord. All these links, again, will be down below, twitch.tv/NGNGTV. It's a fantastic place to be able to ask questions live and get instantaneous answers, and probably a multitude more answers than you probably didn't expect. So anyways, come check that out. And if I don't know, someone in chat knows. And if we don't know, well, we got Google, right? So there's that. And of course, guys, if you enjoy my content, I need your support. consider becoming a Patreon. Every little bit counts, from a tier 1 all the way up to the tier 5. Whatever you're able to afford and whatever you feel like my content is worth, that's where I'm asking you guys for your support. Helps me not have to worry about paying my light bills and keeping food on the table. So again, which allows me to create content without stressing. So if you're out there and you have the ability, please consider becoming a patron. I just want to say thank you to all of my current patrons and future patrons. Thank you guys so much. You guys asked and we delivered. The Irby collection is live. You can get a sticker, a coffee mug, a hoodie, and a t-shirt, along with all the other designs like the Griffin, and make sure to check those out. Again, we'll be continuing the design process, bringing you some new merch every single month, but this of course was high priority, so make sure to go check the store out. And of course, this is international shipping across the world. Just want to say enjoy and don't go too crazy. All right guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you on the next one. Until next time, Mech Warriors, peace.